Have you had clients come to you and tell you that other photographers have told them they're too tall, too short, too fat, too skinny, too whatever? Those are photographer problems. Your job as a photographer is to make your client look and feel as absolutely beautiful and comfortable as you can. And I'm going to show you how to do that with lighting, styling, and posing. Hi again, I'm Kaya Munn, a portrait and fashion photographer based in beautiful Denver, Colorado. One of my clients, Kirra Collins, is an absolutely amazing fitness competitor, and she's been to numerous photographers, including myself over the years. I've had the great pleasure of photographing her for fashion editorials as well as for her portfolio and just some gym lifestyle work. She came to me because some other photographers had told her she's too muscular, she's too masculine, and that they couldn't provide a really feminine, gentle kind of photo shoot look for her that she was going for. Well, I saw this and I thought this is an amazing opportunity to make her not only look and feel beautiful, uber glamorous, feminine. So I decided I needed to draw inspiration from perhaps one of the most beautiful feminine icons of all time, Marilyn Monroe. I decided that I wanted to find inspiration from one of the most iconic scenes of her career, from Some Like It Hot, where she's outside and she's standing over the subway grate and her gorgeous white dress, the fabric is blowing and billowing. I didn't want to recreate the scene. I'm not trying to do a Marilyn photo shoot, but I did want to take that idea of that life and movement and energy, and it's just kind of uber feminine, and take that and apply that to Kirra's photo shoot. I knew the perfect place to start was going to be with my most requested red flying skirt. My clients love this. I added it to my studio wardrobe a couple of years ago off of Etsy, and I use it for everything. Boudoir, glam, fitness, my senior photo shoots. It's just a phenomenal piece. It gives life and energy and movement to any kind of photo shoot that we're doing. So that was definitely going to be the starting point. From there, I decided red would be a great theme for the entire look. So I added in a velvet bodysuit with a corset back and matching long elbow length gloves, because I felt like that really kept going with the Hollywood starlet idea. I also had this fabulous pair of red heels, so why not? They're completely elegant and they just added a great touch to the look. I looked at this and I thought, this is perfect. As is, it's perfect. But I wanted it to be a little extra. So this is where my DIY skills came in, and I decided to create a bit of an over-the-top hat to add into the mix. So first of all, disclaimer, there's a few things you should know about this hat. It's not a hat. Was a pretty hideous yellow cone that I spray painted with a beautiful holiday red spray paint, and then I hot glued tulle all over it, and I covered it with velvet Christmas bows. And now it's amazing, but you can't just sit it on somebody's head and it's gonna stay. Like, you're gonna have to do some things on set to make it work. And thankfully, I have an amazing client. I was able to show her and pose her in a way that made the hat look pretty epic. But on its own, it can be a little frightening. I did give a disclaimer. When she walked in to her, I said, look, I understand this might be frightening, but I promise you, on set, it's gonna look amazing. I think as photographers, we usually know that. We know that we can photograph things and make them look epic, but in person sometimes, it looks like you don't really know what you're doing. Thankfully, we've worked together enough times and she trusts me and trusts my work that she knew right away that it was gonna be amazing, and it was. In keeping with the red theme that I had already created for the wardrobe and styling, I chose a Savage Universal seamless paper in primary red as my backdrop. For the lighting, I wanted to emulate that Hollywood lighting of the 40s. The perfect modifier for my main light then was going to be my Magnum reflector. It's incredible, hard, crisp light, it's beautiful, and it gives a nice smooth quality to the skin. I added a grid to it to control the spread of light and also to keep the light from spilling on the background. For my background lights, I chose two Profoto small white umbrellas, and I multi-purposed them by feathering them onto my clients so they would also act as rim lights. For the fill, I wanted to give a nice soft complement to the hard main light. For that reason, I chose a Profoto medium deep white umbrella with diffusion. I kept the power relatively low just so that I could keep the overall image quality pretty dramatic. When I started in photography, I was assisting an incredible duo who was shooting out on the West Coast. They specialized in boudoir and fashion, and I had an amazing opportunity to watch them work and also assist them work. And one of the things I observed right away was that there were two people shooting on set at all time, and they were using different lenses and they had different styles. So oftentimes one person would be shooting wide open with an 85 at 1.4, and the other person would be shooting a 150 for close-ups or a 28 105 and stopped way down to get silhouettes. I thought that was pretty brilliant. When we imported the images and culled them, there was an incredible amount of variety, more than I would have expected for you to get out of that photo shoot. So I knew that I wanted to take that idea and implement it into my studio workflow, but I didn't have a second shooter. So I took my backup camera and I made that my second shooter. When I shoot, I always have both cameras ready. I have a couple different lenses teed up, already ready with different settings. So if I jump on the set, I know that I can shoot it wide open or I can stop it down, and there are lots of other variations you can make. You just have to be creative about it. For me, that's been an incredible asset to my workflow. Now, I'm not married to a particular camera style or brand. If you are, use what you have. I happen to have a Canon and a Nikon, so what I'm going to tell you is I'm going to give you the different lenses and camera models as well as the settings that I used on this particular shoot to get a couple of very different looks, as you'll see in the final images. For my gear, I chose my Canon R5. I used my 24-105 RF lens, which is a go-to in the studio for me. I shot it at 1/200th of a second, f/13, ISO 200. I also picked up my Nikon 750 with the 85 1.4 lens. I shot that at 160th of a second at f/5 with an ISO of 200. I also used my Heliopan variable ND filter on the 750 because I wanted to block out some of the light. Now I had a few choices. I could of course stop down the aperture or decrease my ISO, but instead I used the ND filter. My light was already powered at its lowest setting, and because I was shooting in a fairly small space, I didn't have room to back up the light any further. So for me, using that ND filter was a great choice. You guys know, variety is money in the bank, and as photographers, we're not only trying to deliver an amazing experience, we're trying to make sales. Take a look at the image on the left, shot with my Canon, versus the image on the right, shot with my Nikon. I was able to present both of those completely different shots to my client who loved both of them, and all I had to do was put down one camera and pick up the other. Now, for those of you going, oh, okay, all you had to do was pick up your second camera, what if you don't have one? No problem. Change out the lens. Take the time to change your lens. Okay, if you don't have a second lens, I'm going to talk to you too. Not a problem. What you do need to do is you need to think through, how can I vary the settings on my camera with this one lens that I have to produce a completely different image? And make yourself think through it so that you can achieve the variety, so that you can show your client some incredibly different images and have the potential to make a great sale. I posed my client in ways that were elegant, glamorous, and soft, and then I knew I had to add something that would be the wow factor, and that was wind. It blew her hair and just caressed the fabric gently, but then to really take it over the top, I needed an assistant. Get yourself a volunteer, an enthusiastic volunteer, who will do this for a long time and throw that fabric, and then you're gonna have absolutely incredible results that really give it that Hollywood magic. Creative lighting, styling, and posing was the solution for my client, and she left with images that she loved. What do you do to add quick variety in the middle of your photo shoots? I want to know. Let's have a discussion. Leave me a comment and let me know, and we'll talk about it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'd love to see you in the future. I'll have lots more videos, so please like and subscribe. Bye, guys.